Today is the 8th day of the 3rd month in the 9th year of Channel Group, April 19, 2021. To begin our day, let's offer our respect and gratitude to our Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. 천지인 천부모님께 경배. 바로 Let us recite 가정맹세.
가정맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상천국과 천상천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 현상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
For opening prayer, may I call the National Education Director, Mr. Ariel Rayolin.
Please join in prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent and victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Our Heavenly Parent, we would like to offer our heartfelt gratitude for giving us this new life today and for continuously nurturing our spirit with your words. We would like to offer our prayers for our beloved True Mother, for our beloved True Mother's protection and good health and long life. May we could bring joy and happiness and glory and honor to our beloved True Parents while our True Mother is still here in the physical world. We are so sorry that our beloved True Mother is still working very hard, leading us in the front line in spite of her old age and physical limitations. And we pray, Heavenly Parent, that the realization of your will, the substantialization of Vision 2027 will be realized quickly in this earth, Heavenly Parent, and we could really liberate also the spiritual world. We would like to pray for the reunification of the North Korea and South Korea will happen very soon, centering on our beloved Two Parents. We would like to express our deepest gratitude for allowing us to know our beloved True Parents as the Lord of the Second Coming, the Messiah. In spite of our unworthiness, we are the ones whom you have chosen to represent our ancestors, to walk on this earth, to live together with our beloved True Parents, the living Messiah, and the living Son and daughter of God. We pray, Heavenly Parent, that we could always align ourselves with your will, and we could be able to become filial sons and daughters of yours. And we are so repentful also, Heavenly Parent, because there are many billions of people now who are yet to receive your words, to be enlightened with the truth, and to be resurrected and completely restored. We sincerely repent for all our shortcomings and all our immaturities, for all our limitations and all our transgressions and inadequacies. Heavenly Parent, please allow us to determine ourselves once again this day as we receive your words, and let it be that we can become children who can comfort you, could really bring substantial results, and could really bring complete salvation to your children all over the world, and that we could become two filial sons and daughters of God and true parents. Heavenly Parent, we would like to invite your holy presence to be with us this morning, as well as the Spirit of beloved true parents to be with us. And let it be, Heavenly Parent, that you could guide us throughout the day, and please come and dwell into the hearts, mind of our national leader, our Reverend Leo Angelo Halog. Let it be, Heavenly Parent, that you could use him as your instrument, as your mouthpiece, as your channel of your love and your words that gives us life and inspiration. We pray, Heavenly Parent, that you could also speak to our leaders and brothers and sisters who will be speaking and sharing with us this morning. Heavenly Parent, we are truly grateful, and we we are eternally grateful, Heavenly Parent, for all the love and protection that you're giving us, for all the guidance and inspiration that we are receiving day by day. And let it be, Heavenly Parent, that we could open our heart and mind this morning to once again receive spiritual food that we could be able to digest it so that our spirit could really be more mature and grow, and we could practice it so that we could have strong bones and muscles in the spiritual world when we go there, Heavenly Parent. Thank you so much for these precious words and for this precious moment that we could gather together as one family, which is a beautiful tradition that our two parents have taught us, have bequeathed to us, Heavenly Parent. Thank you so much for this wonderful morning, Heavenly Parent. Please bless this day, and may we could fulfill our responsibility, Heavenly Parent, especially, Heavenly Parent, that we are preparing for the celebration of the anniversary of two parents' holy wedding, which is the most important time in history, Heavenly Parent. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for everything, Heavenly Parent. Thank you so much, Heavenly Parent. Please be with us, and we would like to humbly offer and report peace on behalf of our brothers and sisters, precious leaders and blessed families, brothers and sisters who are here today. I offer and report this in our names, Ariel and Donna Rielin, blessed and tell family, Adieu.
Jew. Now let's offer an unison prayer. Now, let's greet first our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Good morning, Heavenly Father and True Parents. Good morning, Reverend Leo Hangelo Halo. Good morning also to our leaders, brothers and sisters. Good morning, everyone. Now, for the Hondoke reading, may I call the Japan Task Force Coordinator, no rather than Miss May ID Buwan.
Good morning, Heavenly Father, friends. Good morning to all our leaders, elders, brothers, and sisters. For this morning, our reading from The Mother of Peace, a memoir by Mrs. Hak Jahan Moon. Chapter 10, The Challenge of Realizing a Heavenly World. Continuation. If paradise on earth is defined by having many different creatures living together in a lush, green garden, Mato Grosso do Sul belongs in that paradise. It, its vast territory is covered by virgin forests and wetlands. It is ideal for cultivating a farm or caring for an orchard. Enormous trees provide shelter and sustenance for many kinds of birds, insects, and animals. The rivers are clean and some of them are quite clear. There are more than 20 waterfalls, including the famous Iguazu Falls that thunders where Brazil meets Argentina. Even though it was South America's hottest season, in December of 1994, we brought our senior missionaries from around the world to experience a fishing workshop on the Paraguay River. As the sun blazed on those days, local people would wade into the river and lie in the water to cool off, watching us curiously while we fish. As beautiful as the Pantanal was, one had to be careful at all times. We would take a boat off the river, dock it, and explore the countryside. Sometimes we could barely get through tangles of vines hanging down from enormous trees, and we would have to crawl on our bellies. We often would not return to the boat until midnight. We would rely on a steel cable stretched out through the forest to guide us back in the dark. When we rose before dawn every day to continue, we again would deal with sweltering heat and swarms of mosquitoes. It was a strenuous routine. My most difficult task was bathing. I would awkwardly put up a screen for privacy in the narrow boat, so I could wash myself with the murky river water. But in my heart, I welcome such primitive and natural conditions. Near the Mato Grosso do Sul town of Jardim, we built a headquarters for global education called the Headquarters for the Education of Ideal Families for World Peace and set up the New Hope Farm to establish a foundation to build God's nation. The local townsfolk told us that an old prophecy predicted that Jardim was where the Lord will come. The first time Father Moon and I went to the Jardim was in late 1994 when we held our first leaders workshop there. The training center was a run-down storehouse without even bathrooms or a kitchen. I cannot begin to describe how uncomfortable it was, but it was perfect for the experiential education we wanted to provide our leaders. It was a workshop of heart during which participants breathed the warm air and reserve, sweated without reserve as they read God's words in the early morning and fish in the midst of the unpolluted and pure original creation. Over the years, we developed that Hardin site into a lovely family retreat center. We invested in the new Hope Farm that surrounded it. Unificationist missionaries and members from around the world moved there with a vision of restoring the Garden of Eden that God created at the beginning. We built our community in Harding with a school so that all these families from all over the world would be able to experience God's love while living in beautiful nature. We donated ambulances to the town, farm and raise cattle, and improve the livelihoods of local people. In the late 1990s, thousands of our members from around the world spent 40 days in study, prayer, and recreation in the natural beauty of New Hope Farm outside of Hardin. The Pantanal, which Hardin borders, is the world's largest freshwater wetland area, lying on both sides of the Paraguay River. It is a paradise on earth. Everything God created in the area has the appearance of the original creation. I am deeply impressed with the thought that this is what the Garden of Eden must have looked like, with the fish and all these animals and plants living exactly as they always have. There are capybaras, crocodiles, wild pigs, and birds such as rias, all living freely in the wild. In the river, we find surubi and pacu, and of course, the piranhas that are dangerous even for humans. Many species considered endangered live here, including jaguars, pumas, deer, wolves, otters, armadillos, and anteaters. There are also unique trees and cacti. It is the largest wetland in the world, and as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it is protected. Thus, it is a unique area in which to create an ideal village. An extraordinary natural environment such as this has its dangers, but at the same time, it could be a key region for solving food shortages in the future. We started farming and created a fish farm with a view to improving the local people's livelihoods. One of our ideas was to create a fish meal that could be supplied to boost people's nutrition in poorer areas. We made plans to raise cattle on our ranch and supply beef to as many as 160 countries. To protect the natural landscape, we planted a great number of trees in the land alongside the Paraguay River. The second area in which we invested is called the Chaco. This remote area is part of the Gran Chaco region that covers parts of Bolivia, Paraguay, and Argentina. In 1999, we encouraged our members to develop a settlement there called the Puerto Leda Project. If you cross the Paraguay River at Puerto Leda, moving from Paraguay to Brazil, you're only a couple of hours by four-wheel drive vehicle from Hardim. Puerto Leda was the most difficult place to live in the Chaco. Yet, our Japanese brothers rolled up their sleeves and worked their hardest. In only a few years, they transformed the area into an ideal village where people and nature live in harmony, a place where anyone would enjoy living. They even built a swimming pool. It is a model ecological settlement, including water purification and fish farming, which was recognized by Paraguay's president, who personally visited the site. We prioritize these projects over building churches, but as the number of people who responded to our members' tireless devotion grew, our faith community also grew. I wept, Aju.
Ju. Now let's give a hand to heavenly parents and true parents and also to our true mothers. Thank you so much for the wonderful reading. Now, for the 10 points of gratitude, may I call the National Education Department Secretary, no other than Ms. Marby Claire Advincula.
Thank you so much. 10 points of gratitude. First, I am so grateful for Heavenly Parent and true parents. First, I'm so grateful for Heavenly Parent and true parents for every blessings that we are receiving. Second, for the good health of our true mother. Third, I'm so grateful that for every day we kept on receiving God's word from our national leader. Thank you for giving us an understanding heart of Heavenly Parent and true parents. Fourth, to all our leaders, elders, blessed families, and brothers and sisters for always there giving us guidance and inspiration. Thank you for all their hard works. Fifth, I am so grateful that we are all safe from the pandemic COVID-19. Thank you for the good health of our leaders, elders, blessed families, brothers and sisters, and also to our families. Seven, I am so thankful for all the blessings that we are receiving every day in our lives. Eight, thank you for all the support for our National Education Department. Thank you, the hope to mobilize education for everyone makes it possible, hoping for more people around the nation's society can hear the divine principle even in this pandemic situation. Nine, for education department to be more fruitful, creative, and more success. And 10, of course, thank you for every challenge and struggles that we face in our lives. It really changed one's life to a better. So thank you so much po.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Marvic Advencula, for giving us the 10 points of gratitude. And I know all of us have grateful every day. So now, for our opening song, may I call the Rialin sibling for singing the A Million Dreams. Let's welcome the Rialin siblings.
Close my eyes and I can see a world is waiting up for me that I call my own. Through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build, every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. keeping me awake. Think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Wow, what a wonderful voice from the Realin siblings. Thank you so much. And also to our second gen here in the National Training Center. Thank you so much. Now, I know that all of us is inspired through this song. So for more inspiration, let's welcome our national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halog.
Thank you very much, our Sister Rose. First, good morning, our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Good morning to all our leaders, and of families, brothers and sisters. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ohayo gozaimasu. Inyong hashimnika. Good morning to all brothers and sisters from all over the world who are joining us in our Hunduke. Today is our 78th day of our National Morning Devotion. Thank you very much for HTM Philippines for hosting our morning devotion today. And thank you very much for our wonderful kids, our children, who offered this very beautiful song, truly inspiring. Thank you also for our sister Marivic for sharing her 10 points of appreciation. Yeah, really so inspiring to see our second generation really offering song. Yesterday, I believe everybody is so inspired with the message of our Vice President Sir Julius. I'm really, really grateful. Yesterday, I couldn't participate in the Sunday service because yesterday I went to Pampanga to solemnize marriage. It's my actually first time to solemnize marriage. It's a great experience. Yesterday, our sister Jamie, the one who graduated from UPA, and our brother Joseph, they had their wedding ceremony in Jamie's family. It was really inspiring to attend such an event, and really great to see when husband and wife are coming together. You can really feel deeply our heavenly parents and true parents' love. They were really moved actually yesterday, and also the entire family were really so inspired. Yeah, so we're coming closer to the celebration of true parents' 61st holy wedding anniversary. So that will be next week, April 27. We're going to have the pledge service, and along with this celebration, we are actually having many celebrations regarding this holiday. Together with this holiday, we are really grateful that we could celebrate together with True Mother, even though we are apart, we are far. We couldn't also see True Mother physically, but let's really feel in our hearts that we are always with our beloved true parents, and True Mother is always with us. So today, I would like to share with you. I would like to continue with the topic I shared yesterday. So today I would like to continue with the topic yesterday, leaving behind a legacy of love. So let's study together. Let's continue. True Father said, "We are not meant to live for our own sakes." Human beings have always struggled to understand who we are and why we must live. We must realize that just as we were not born of our own accord, so also we are not meant to live our lives for our own sakes. So as we can see in our society, All people are struggling how they live, how they should live their lives, right? Everywhere you see, and disregarding all the things that we have, the possessions that we have, all people without exemption are struggling. That's what Father is saying here. Struggling who we are. We don't know who we are, and then how we should live our lives. We don't know how we were created. We don't know our origin. So this basic concept and basic things that is very, very important. People are ignorant about this. That's why Father is saying we really must need to realize that as we were not born of our own accord, so also we are not meant to live our lives for our own sake. So people are just trying to live their lives as if their life is just their own. It's like that people just came to this world on their own, right? So that's why they're continue, struggling how to do. How should I live this life? So without knowing how we were created, what is God's purpose of creating us, then continuously people will be, continue to struggle and really doesn't know how they should live their lives. So we have to really realize and understand, Father said, that we are not here on our own accord, right? So also, we are not meant to live our lives just for our own sake. True Father said, we must live by traveling the path of love. So the answer to the question of how we should live our lives is simple. We were born of love. So we must live by traveling the path of love. Our lives were created by receiving the boundless love of our parents. So we must live our entire lives repaying that love. In the course of our lives, this is the only value we can choose on our own. The success or failure of our lives depends on how much love we are able to pack into these 80 years that are given to us. So what is really most important, living our life on earth? So true Father said we were born of love. So we must live by traveling the path of love. So our entire life, our journey here in the physical world, we are traveling in this, what we call, Father said, path of love. So our lives were created by receiving the boundless love of our parents. So we must live our lives, entire lives, repaying that love. So our existence is because of love. Starting from our heavenly parent, invested everything. And then through our physical parents, giving us tremendous love, right? So our lives, Father said, we should live our life, our entire lives, repaying that love. So because even our entire life, our whole life, actually, we cannot really pay back this blessing that we have received, right? Giving us our life. So Father said, in the course of our lives, this is the only value we can choose on our own. So there's no other choice we can make. The only choice we can make, Father said, is to, uh, living this course of life. This is the only way, which is, giving love, giving back the love that we have received. This is the only choice we can make. Going through this path, paying back the love that we have received. That's why Father said the success or failure of our lives depends on how much love we are able to pack into those 80 years that are given to us. So that's why, people has different description of success. We have different, meaning or how we define success. But actually, Father is saying there's only one thing to define whether someone lives successful or successful life or someone fails. So it depends, Father said, on how much love we are able to pack into these 80 years that are given to us. How much love we have accumulated through giving love. So through giving love, then you can accumulate love. So without giving, you cannot accumulate love. Right? So Father is saying here, how much love we are able to pack in these 80 years that are given to us. How much we accumulate through giving love to others. That's why more than anything else, as what people are focusing on, accumulating material things, having power, money, authority, all these things that people are like crazily, running after, right? So this will not really determine people's success. later on, it will not really make them successful having all these things. But what will really determine success later on is how much love we were able to pack. Father said, how much love we were able to share and give to others. Aju, that's why this very short period of time, really, this is the most difficult. How can we really love not only our own family, but starting from there, how much we were able to love our spouse, our children, because this is really the base. And then from here, we will go out, right, from our own families. We have to really nurture our heart to love in our own families, and then going to the society, to our neighbor, to our community, to our nation, to the world, right? So this is the most important. So we are traveling in this path of love more than anything, right? True Father said, everyone will shed his physical body like old clothing and die. At some point, everyone will shed his physical body like old clothing and die. In Korean, to return is a common expression for dying. To return means to go back to where we came from. That is, to go back to our fundamental roots. Everything in the universe moves in cycles. The white snow that collects on the mountains will melt and flow down the slopes, first forming streams, and then a river, and eventually go into the ocean. So there's a very clear cycle in the universe, everywhere, right? Even life has its own cycle, right? So Father said, at some point, everyone will shed his physical body like old clothing and die. So Father is saying, we live our lives from birth, and then we grow old, and then we die, and then new generations comes. So this is life cycle, right? So in this world, people come and go, right? So in Korean, Father is saying, like dying is like to return. It's a common expression for dying. Dying is not actually the end. That's what as many people are, thinking that it's the end. That's why people are even choosing to end their life, because they thought that is really the end of everything, but actually it's not. Father is saying here in Korean, dying is like to return, just returning home, right? So return means to go back to where we came from. That is to go back to our fundamental roots. So that's why we have to really understand deeply what is, dying. When we shed our physical bodies, that's the time our spirit goes back to where it came from, going back to our fundamental root, right? So it's really important to understand about this one, so we can really live life well while we are living on earth, right? So that when the time comes that we need to go back, then we could accomplish what we need to fulfill, and then really fulfill the purpose of why we exist. This is really important. So life cycle is like that, right? So Father said, we go to the place from which the heart came. The water that flows into the ocean will absorb the heat of the sun rays, become water vapor, go back up into the sky and prepare to become either snowflakes or drop of rain. To return to our original place in this way is what we call death. Then where do we human beings return to when we die? Body and heart come together to bring about human life, and that is the act of shedding the body. So we go to the place from which the heart came. So in nature, it's very clear. We can see like the cycle, the water cycle. As what Father is saying, the snow are melting. They go to the stream, to the river, and then finally, eventually, to the ocean. And then from the ocean, the water that flows into the ocean will absorb the heat of the sun rays. So we could learn this very clearly through science, right? And then the heat through the sun rays, the water is being absorbed, and then again later became water vapor, and then go back into the sky and prepare to become either snowflakes or drops of rain. So it's very clear, we can see in the cycle of water cycle. It's very normal, natural, through nature. So we can see, we can learn. Everywhere in nature, we can really learn. So the same is true, Father is saying, to return to our original place in this way is what we call death. So our life cycle, right? Shedding our physical body, this is what we call death. But this is part of the cycle, right? So Father said, body and heart come together to bring about human life. And then death is the act of shedding the body. So body and heart, body and spirit come together. Then that brings life to human beings. And then death is the act of shedding the body. And then we go to the place from which the heart came. So the body was shed on earth, go back to where it came from, and then the same is true. Our heart, our spirit goes to where it came from. So it's very clear, the life cycle of human beings, right? That as we also could learn from nature. So understanding about this is really important to really make meaning, give meaning and value in our life while we are living on earth. So this is really important for us to understand. So True Father said, we cannot talk about life without also talking about death. So we cannot actually separate life from death. So Father said we cannot talk about life without also talking about death. We must accurately understand what death is, even if we do so only to understand the purpose of life. The type of life that has true value can be understood only by the person who finds himself in a difficult situation when death appears imminent and he cries out to heaven in desperation, pleading to be allowed to live even just one more day. If our days are as precious as this, how should we live them? What are the things we must accomplish before we cross over the boundary line of death? So, as what Father is talking about here, that really, we cannot really understand life without talking about death. Kaya nga hindi po natin ito pwedeng paghiwalayin. And then how can we really know and understand the value of someone's life? Actually, this is at the time of his death. Kaya nga po yung Songwa ceremony. This is like, to celebrate one's life. Doon natin maintindihan how much the person lives his life. Right? Kaya very, very important din po yun. So when we talk about that, or talk about life, we cannot really separate yung death. So Father said we must accurately understand what death is, even if we do so only to understand the purpose of life. So through understanding that, and then we can really give value and meaning sa buhay natin. Kaya nga hindi natin pwedeng tanggalin yan. Many people, they don't want to talk about dying. Ayaw nilang pag-usapan. Pwede bang huwag natin pag-usapan yan when you are talking about, about this topic outside, in the society. Many people doesn't want to talk about this. But because of this, we can really have meaning in our life. Father said the type of life that has true value can understood only by the person who finds himself in a difficult situation when death appears imminent and he cries out to heaven in desperation, pleading to be allowed to live even just one more day. So, Father said dito, the type of life that has a true value can be understood. Maintindihan daw natin yung life talaga na may true value. When a person is in the situation of like life and death situation that, pleading to even allowed to live even just one more day. Kaya nga, without going through, bakit sinasabi ni True Mother palagi? We need to live our life in, life and death situation. Right? So really giving everything, going beyond, even, willing to sacrifice your life for the sake of accomplishing something, especially our life's purpose. Very important. And then even pleading to live one more day so we can understand the true value of life. Sabi ni Father. So if our days are as precious as this, how should we live them? So what are the things we must accomplish before we cross over the boundary of life and death? So that's why it's important to really let people understand the value of life through also educating them about death. Right? This is the only way to understand the value and meaning of life. Without teaching people about this, then people will always live, life without value. They will miss the moment that was given to us while they are on earth. So many people, sabi nga ni Father, are dying like pigs and dogs. Anong ibig sabihin nun? They are dying without, really doing and fulfilling their life's purpose. Ibig sabihin, their life has no meaning, has no value. So without understanding this, right? Going in the situation of life and death, kaya nga lagi si Father is pushing us, to go to the most difficult situation. That is the only way for us to understand the meaning and value of life. And then we can live our life to the fullest, right? Especially in this short life that God has given us, how we should live our life. What are the things we must accomplish before we cross over the boundary of life and death? right? Really investing what we need to invest for while we are living on earth. So it's really important. Through that, we can understand the value and meaning of life. True Father said, the most important is not to commit sin. The most important is not to commit sin and live a life that is without shadows. There is much religious and philosophical debate over what constitutes sin. But what is clear is that we should not engage in acts that give pause to our conscience. When we do things that give us a guilty conscience, it always leaves a shadow in our heart. That's why we have our original mind, we have our conscience. Immediately, these will be the ones that we're going to check and tell you, if you have the, sabi nga ni Father, if you have the pangs of, guilty conscience, kapag mafe-feel natin yan if we are doing something against the principle, going against heavenly law, we can always feel that when you start, to meditate and pray, you can feel in your conscience. You can listen from our conscience. That's why this is what we are developing for, right? That's we are really investing, doing our best to be able to really listen from the voice of our conscience. Once we became so aware about this one, immediately it will guide us clearly, and then we can avoid committing sin. That's why Father is telling us the most important is not to commit sin and live a life that is without shadow. Kaya nga po ngayon, yung noontime settlement, living a life without shadow. When we do things that give us guilty conscience, Father said, it always leaves a shadow in our heart. So what is important now is that we should not engage in acts that give pause to our conscience. Kaya nga, Father reminded us, given us the 3 heavenly laws, di ba? That do not, stain your blood lineage, and then do not hurt others, and then do not misuse public funds. So these 3 heavenly laws, that is our guide, living our life while we are in the physical world. That's why immediately if you go against any of this, immediately you will feel something in your conscience. That's why Father said, if you feel guilty, some guilt in your conscience, it leaves a shadow in our heart. That's why most important, living our life now. Really following the heavenly law, trying our best every day, right? And then really how to live a life without shadow, without, hiding anything, right? Actually, this time you cannot hide anything. Everything now is coming to, be known. In outside society, we can see. Even mga iba't ibang religion ngayon, everything that is really hiding something, they are collapsing now. We could learn even Catholicism now in Vatican, we could see many issues are coming out, right? In all religions now are coming out. So the world now is coming to, live in high noon settlement. Really, we are moving toward Chanilguk. People cannot really notice about this one. They don't know what's the meaning. But for us, it's very clear. We are really moving towards Chanilguk, substantial Chanilguk, right? So everything is becoming very clear as crystal. Kaya nga, most important now, Father said, most important is not to commit sin, living a life without shadows. That's why these 3 guidance of true parents very important. How we can try our best, even though it's not easy, right? In our mind, sometimes we judge people, we hurt people without, sometimes unconsciously we hurt people. That's why, how can we always be humble? Yun yung pinaka-importante, and how we can really, give love and practice love, most importantly, more than anything, right? So, not committing, sin, Father said is the most important, keeping these 3 heavenly law. Do not stain our blood lineage, sometimes in our mind, very difficult to control our mind. So every day, we are committing sin, still in our mind, in our heart, even without noticing sometimes. So these 3 things, so how can we, develop and really live such a life without, violating these 3 heavenly law? All of us, without exemption. How can we, that's why every day we're being guided by true parents so that we can improve our everyday life. We can develop and really live slowly, life without shadows. So that when we shed our physical bodies, right, then we can be with the heavenly parent in the kingdom of heaven later on, and really become sons and daughters who can really make our heavenly parent proud. That's why really this is the most important now. not to commit sin, and really live a life without shadows. That's why do not do anything, Father said, that will give pause to your conscience. Immediately you will feel. That's why if we listen from this God within us, our original mind, then our life will be guided, and then we can live in accordance to Heavenly Parents' desire. Aju? So this is really important. So true Father said we have to do more work than others have done. The next most important thing is to resolve to do significantly more work than others have done. All of our lives are limited, whether that limit is 60 years, 70 years, or some other time period. Depending on how we use that time, we can live a life that is 2 or 3 times more abundant than others. If you cut your time into segments and then live each segment in a meaningful way, your life will be truly precious. So, kaya nga laging sinasabi ni Father, we need to work as others are eating. Right? We need to work as others are sleeping. Father is telling us we need to really work harder than others. 24, even, 24 hours, sabi ni Father. So we have to do more work than others have done. So this is really important. So all of our lives are limited. Kasi nga, limited lang yung life natin. Whether that limit is 60, 70, or 80, or some other period, we don't know. But depending on how we use that time, we can live a life that is 2 or 3 times more abundant than others. It doesn't mean, people are living, some people living 80, 90. I have a grandmother that now she's 97 years old. Still she's in my father's side. She's still strong. Already she's 97 years old. So, but it doesn't matter, how long we really live, literally our lives. But Father is saying here, depending on how we use that time, we can live a life that is 2 or 3 times more abundant than others. Even some people maybe just live 50 or 60 years, but depends on how they live their lives. Right? That is most important. So Father is guiding us here. If you cut your time into segments and then live each segment in a meaningful way, your life will be truly precious. So now living in this time, especially with our true parents, how much are we living our life? So this is really important. How much we are spending our day, every day. Some people, they are just living a routinary life. People who are working, they work from 8 to 5 o'clock, and then they have their routine, right? Many people, they are just living life like this. So, the same is true. If we live ordinary life, sinasabi ni Father, yung 80 years na buhay natin, just only 7 years. If we only live ordinary life. Kaya nga, it doesn't matter how many years we live here on earth, but most importantly, how to live life that has meaning every day, right? And really make every moment precious sa buhay natin. Yun yung pinaka-importante, lalo na ngayong time with our beloved true parents, living in this time with our true mother on earth. How much we are living our life for others, really, investing, loving other people, our families, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, even without thinking whether it is night or day. Sabi ni Father, working hard without thinking whether it's night or day, fulfilling our mission. Just, praying for people continuously. Now we are, doing the 43 for Chonbo families, sa mga iba pa. So how are we, trying to think of reaching out to people, not only with those who are in our tribe, but now trying to reach out. Even I myself now, reaching out to people even online. Even our spiritual children, na mga nag-alisan na dati, we could see them through sa social media ngayon. We can reach anybody. So now it's very good to reach out people. And then, connect them ulit with all our activities that we are doing online. Right? People who are connected to us. Even they don't know yet our movement. It's very good to reach out ngayon. So how are we living our life every day? Trying to save people, trying to impart to them, and really share to them the love that we are receiving from Heavenly Parent and true parents. So most importantly, how we are spending our life every moment, right? Every day. This is really the ones that give really value and meaning to our life. So Father said, if we are living our life like this, then your life will truly be precious. It doesn't matter how long we will live on earth, but how we live a life that has meaning. Aju? And really living for others. That is the most important. So true father said, all sin in the world comes about when the individual is put first. Live your life with an attitude of devotion and diligence, telling yourself, for example, that you will plant 2 or 3 trees in the time it takes others to plant one. Do not live for yourself. You must live not for yourself, but for others. Not for your family, but for your neighbors. Not for your own country, but for the world. All sin in the world comes about when the individual is put first. Individual desires and ambitions harm a person's neighbors and ruin the society at large. So the sin always begins from the individual if we put ourselves first. So dyan daw nagsisimula palagi ang sin. That's why people are always thinking about themselves. You know? And then individual desires and ambitions harm a person's neighbors and ruin the society at large. Kaya nga sabi ni Father sa atin, when we set a goal, we need to, connect our goal to Heavenly Parents' goal, our vision. When you, set a goal, make the world as your stage. How can we contribute to really make the world a better place? Kaya nga sabi ni Father, individual desires and ambitions. Kaya nga, anything that is just focusing with oneself, everything that is, focused on the individual is bad. That will make you commit sin, right? Kaya nga lahat ng ambition, ng desire, kapag sobra, and then nakafocus lang sa sarili, this is bad. This will make you commit sin. Right? Sabi ni Father dito, individual desires and ambitions harm a person's neighbors and ruin the society at large. That's why really most important how to really, our mind focus on other people. Right? Father said, do not live for yourself. You must live not for yourself but for others. Not for your family, but for your neighbors. Not for your own country, but for the world. Kaya nga if we just follow talaga ito, yung tinuturo ni Father, then we can really go out from this individual thinking. And then we can avoid committing sin. We can live life well, right? We can live life to the fullest and really saving, sharing love to other people continuously. When we look at other people, we make them, our priority sa buhay natin. Really sharing, giving. If this will become priority of our life, then we can avoid committing sin. Aju? That's why Father said, live your life with an attitude of devotion and diligence. Telling yourself, for example, that you will plan, working hard more than others and really thinking of others first. Aju? This is really, really important. Father said, when you live for others, naturally you will gain for yourself. Kaya these two always, when you live for the whole, you will have benefit as an individual, right? These two always come together. That's why it's really important. Understanding this is really, really important. Living for others, practicing this in our life is really most important. Aju, that's why we are really, really grateful for True Parents' guidance. Father said, when a person dies, only his legacy remains. So everything in the world will eventually pass. The parents we love, the husband or wife we love, and the children we love will all pass away. All that remains with us at the end of our lives is death. When a person dies, only his legacy remains. Please consider for a moment what you can do to show that you lived a life of value. Everything physically existing now will all pass away. Right? Even our parents, spouse, children, and while on earth, everything will pass away. We'll go to the spiritual world, right? But what will remain in the physical world? All that remains with us at the end of our lives is death. So when a person dies, only his legacy remains. So please consider for a moment what you can do to show that you live a life of value. So what do we want to live here in the physical world when we pass on to the spiritual world? So, our true Father, already true Father has gone to the spiritual world for around 9 years now, this year. But, Father is like always alive in our hearts. Always like we feel with all the legacy, the true parents, all the sacrifices, the investment of true parents in making this world now a better place to live. Right? Together with our beloved true Mother, we can always feel true Father is here. Right? Continuously leading us, doing all these works that we are doing. Cannot imagine the legacy that our true parents. That's why every time we have gathering, we can always feel that true Father is like alive, right? seeing all the foundations of true parents. So the same is true. What kind of legacy we want to leave? That's why whenever we are having the anniversary of True Father Songwa, how much we could feel in our hearts that True Father is alive with all the love that true parents have invested for all humanity, for the whole world, right? This will remain forever. And as year pass by, we can, like everything becoming more alive for true parents, for our true father, because he has invested all the love in this world. Aju, that's why the same is the same with us. What we want to, leave, what kind of legacy? That's why more than anything is the legacy of love, right? How many people we have loved? Not only our own family. Some people, they are just focused with their own family. Kaya nga, minimum na binigay sa atin ni True Parents is loving 430 couples. And then, liberating yung ancestors natin 430 generations. That is a sign of love, liberating them. Once you liberate them, they will honor us. And then, minimum 430 couples. And then people that we meet every day. How to invest love in all people that we encounter. Sabi nga ni Father, people we encounter only once, but when we have that encounter, we need to make that encounter that people will never forget us. In a good way. O kasi meron din yung iba, hindi ka makalimutan ng tao, but they are angry. They are, they curse you. Hindi ka nila makalimutan. Not that way. But when we have encounter with someone, people will never forget us because we have shared love with them. Aju, this kind of legacy more than anything. Kaya nga, minimum is 430 couples. Yan talaga, we need to build relationship. It's really not easy. But we can become master of love. This kind of legacy we can live when we go to the spiritual world. Aju? That's why yung buong buhay talaga natin, instead of, struggling so much, but if we invest, this every moment of life, how to really invest love. One person at a time, this is really the main purpose why we are living on earth before we shed our physical bodies. Aju, what kind of legacy we want to remain when people hear our name, what they can remember. Aju, so this is really important. So this is the last slide. Father said, love is the only thing that remains with us when we are in our graves. So the possessions and social position you have accumulated during your life will pass away from you. Once you cross the river of death, such things will have no meaning. Because we were born in love and live our lives in love, love is also the only thing that remains with us when we are in our graves. We receive our lives in love, live by sharing love, and return into the midst of love. It is important that we live our lives in a way that we can leave a legacy of love behind us. So that's why how many people, can really remember us. That's the most important. When we go to our tribe, kaya nga ito, how to build, and then our brothers and sisters living together in the center, lagi nating nakakasalamuha, what kind of, investment we are giving. Not external investment of love. Kaya nga, what is important? Not our position, how much money we make. Hindi ito yung pinaka-importante, how much house we have, how much cars we have. Hindi ito yung matatandaan ng tao. But how much, love we have invested to people, we have given to people. This is the only thing that will remain when we go to the spiritual world, right? That's why everything we have now, we have to use all these things that we have to invest, to love people, right? Kaya nga ngayon, everything is like very urgent, especially during this time of True Parents. Of course, it's still pandemic ngayon. But it's still, even pandemic, still we can do something to share love to other people, right? But later on, especially after this, then we can, build. Supposedly, last Sunday, yesterday, I supposed to meet yung isang kagawad sa tribe ko. Kaya lang and then I'm asking them if they accept physically. So he said, okay, sabi ko kasi I will be giving some gift, but I'm thinking to give autobiography ni True Mother. Supposedly, one couple, kasi they're also very active and then they know us very well already. Isang kagawad dito sa Murong sila. And then he said, yesterday, sana i-meet ko sana sila ng wife niya. And then also because also I'm doing our best with my wife, how to really make really 43 substantial din talaga. So I'm asking them now kasi most of the barangay officials, they're not accepting physical na guest pa masyado. So but this time he said okay, it's okay to come physically, sabi niya sa akin. So, but because of their situation yesterday, nagbigay daw sila ng ayuda, so I couldn't meet him. So, maybe next week I can meet him, and then I will going to give him autobiography, and then I will also encourage him to join the morning devotion. Maybe I can add him sa group ng HTM. So, also now we are praying every day with our 43 couples. So, now I really feel this is really now the best time to really build relationship. Even though, of course, sa mga public officials kasi, ang hirap nilang kwan lang through online. So, first, we need to have meeting physically. But really, despite the pandemic, nothing can stop us, right? Nothing can stop us. We are only living short life on earth. That's why no matter what, that's why also we are discussing also with my wife, really visiting them, starting, even pandemic, as long as they wanted to meet us, we are not afraid. Of course, we will going to take care. But most importantly, as a true parents representative, all of us, how can we really share Heavenly Parents' love, especially during these trying times, right? So let's really do our best. The only thing that will remain later on, but how people remember us, how much love we have invested. That's why everybody is trying their best in our small way. We can invest love, every day to our neighbor, anyone whom we meet. We are meeting every day with our spouse. Let's elevate the love that we are investing to our children, our brothers and sisters in the center, right? So it's really not easy, but this is the sole and core purpose of our life. Really, how much we can love other people. This is the only legacy we can leave. Aju, aju. That's why we shouldn't miss this opportunity while we are alive, while we are living on earth, right? Let's become a person of love, right? That really share love and really embrace people more than anyone. This is an amazing opportunity that was given to us by our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Let's really do our best, right? Despite the situation, really, when there's love, everything can be resolved. Aju, aju. So this is what was lost in our society. When love is being brought back, when all people will practice love, as we show to them how, and as we also learn from true parents, then one day this world will surely change. And then we can really realize Heavenly Parents' dream. Aju? So let's really appreciate our Heavenly Parents. That's why our life, the purpose of our life is to really invest love more than, anything. So understanding, sabi nga ni Father ngayon, even beyond, our death, we have to think that our life is very short. We don't know when are we going to the spiritual world. That's why every moment counts. How much we invest love to our, to our spouse, to our children, to our neighbor, to our, brothers and sisters, everybody that we encounter and meet every day. Everything that we do, there should be love in there. Sabi nga ni Mother Teresa, doing anything, without love, like no meaning, sabi niya, walang value. Right? Ganun din, our true parents are always reminding us. So most importantly, what can remain when we leave this world? Only the investment of love. Loving people, ito lang yung may iwan. Aju, so let's really do our best with this guidance of our true parents today. So once again, thank you so much. Let's really appreciate our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Thank you so much to all our leaders, placental families, and brothers and sisters. May Heavenly Parents' love and blessings be always upon you. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much for the wonderful and amazing message to our national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halog. Thank you so much. Let's give a hand to our national leader now. So yes, from the message of our national leader, so my keyword is love. So the answer to the question of how we should live our lives in simple. We were born of love, so we must live by traveling the path of love. Our lives were created by receiving the boundless of love of our parents, so we must live our entire lives repaying that love. In the course of our lives, this is the only value we can choose on our own. The success or failure of our lives depend on how much love we pack into those 80 years that we are given to us. So thank you so much to our national leader. And also, yeah, that's why we need to think what our accomplishment every day. And we need to take our responsibility, our portion of responsibility, and especially our true mother really work hard for the Providence. And also our goal is to become a Chombo and also to become owner of a Chunargok. So thank you so much, Heavenly Parents and True Parents, for giving us this kind of eternal guidance. Now, for the reflection, may I call the National Education Staff. He is the Cavite now, no other than Mr. John Carlos Nicolas. Let's welcome Mr. JC Nicolas.
Good morning. Naririnig ako.
Yes, loud and clear.
First of all, good morning to Heavenly Parent and True Parents, to all the leaders, blessed family, Tunbok families, brothers and sisters, and especially to my HDNTC families. True Father said that we not live in our own accord, but our life is for the sake of others. So, kaya so kung babalikan natin sa passage, yung previous passage na this teaching is unchanging, like it is taught by world major religion like Jesus, Buddha, and Prophet Muhammad. So, from beginning, so it is very consistent from beginning to end. So how we will enable to pass the boundary between heaven and hell, or between life and death, is actual achievements of true love, or how we will enable to perfect or to live our life of true love while we are living here in this physical world. Kaya we must think na as an individual, we are not belong to ourselves, but we are belong to God. We are belong to true parents. So, we can make more or accomplish more. So, as and then Father said, a man live for the sake of a woman, and the woman live for the sake of a man. So since the kingdom of heaven is the world of heart, it is a world of love. So we can experience substantially the kingdom of heaven. The minimum level is in the family. So kaya we're so very grateful in the as an individual, hindi ko pa talaga ganun na-experience yung kingdom of heaven, but as we have to live practice living a life of public, or living for the sake of others, undergoing formula course. So there's a hope and possibilities now. You can embrace your wife in the future. So sabi ni Father, the greatest achievements, or we can experience substantially yung love through family. And then as a man, the greatest achievement of man is to become a good father in their family, and then or to become good husband in their wife. And then a wife, the greatest achievements of a woman is to become a good wife to their husband, and then a good mother to their children. So kaya yung mga blessed families natin na especially they have raised many children, like si Nanay Rona, o yung leader ko, they have 7 children. So truly I believe that God truly remember them eternally in the book of life. And then yung mga blessed families din, like nag-offer ng ano nila, ng children nila. Since sabi ni Father, once you have offered your children, you never pass judgment when you come to the spirit world. So, and then sa mga sacrifices din ng mga elders natin before, I truly appreciate them. So I believe that your name is truly recorded in the book of life. And then Father said we are passing the stage of love. So we cannot understand life without talking about death, what Father said. So the purpose of death is how we will enable to live or to experience sangbong experience o yung heartfelt reunion. So that's why as a actual achievement here in this physical world as we have to live, the actual achievement of true love is how we will able to accumulate assets like witnessing or salvation. Kaya, and then we're so very thankful and grateful. Our true mother clearly explained to us the fulfillment of human portion of responsibility, at least in the minimum level of tribe. So that's why our true mother encouraging us to be everybody without exemptions to become a chonbo. So, and then yung accomplishment as a chonbo, we can enable to connect from the national level to the world level to the cosmic level. Since our true father said that we must live not only for the sake of our tribe, our nation, but we must live for the sake of the world. So by by becoming fulfill responsibility, so encourage others like how we will be able to build one people, one nation, and one sovereignty. So that's all. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Kuya JC, for sharing your reflection to everyone. So, yeah, that's right. So now for the next reflection, let's welcome the HTM coordinator of Montalban, no other than Mrs. Rose Oreste.
Hello, good evening. Good morning, everyone. Good evening. I'm grateful. Good morning. So it's my pleasure actually to say good morning to Heavenly Father, to true parents, and to all blessed member, our leaders, and to all you brothers and sisters. So, and it's my honor to be here, actually, to give my reflection about what is, sabi ni Father, is leaving behind the legacy of love. So sa akin, sino po ako? Ano kaya ang magagawa ko sa providence of restoration? Paano ko po kaya mapapasaya ang lahat ng tao? How can I give happiness to everyone? So ang sarap-sarap po palang magbigay ng service sa ibang tao kasi through that, living for the sake of others, that's the time na mafe-feel mo talaga na masaya ka. Like for example, doon sa paglalakad mo may nanghihingi na mahirap, pulubi, tapos binigyan mo ng something, tapos magsasabi sa iyo thank you, 'di ba? Parang ang sarap sa feeling. So since ako pala is isa sa mga nandito sa unification movement, nalaman ko si True Parents, nalaman ko yung divine principle. So, nung nalaman ko ang principle is napaka-importante po pala na yung magkaroon po tayo ng tinatawag na experience sa buhay. Kasi yung po pala ay nagbibigay ng, kumbaga siya yung nag-teach sa atin kung paano natin mo-overcome po ang lahat. So, nung 1990 po, bali na met ko ang movement 1988. 1990 nagkaroon po ng nagkaroon po ng direction yung leaders natin na kung sino daw po yung mag-volunteer para mag full-time, tapos mag-quit sa pag-aaral. So at that time is yung po ang pinaka-goal. So since yung po ang pinaka-goal, dapat sa isip ko, naginip po ako na sabi ni Heavenly Father sa panaginip ko, anak, ibigay mo yung service mo sa akin kasi kailangan kita. So at that time, naisip ko, hindi po pala siya ang nagpapaaral sa akin kasi may nag-sponsor po sa pag-aaral ko. So sabi ko naman, paano kayo ito, mapapagalitan ako ng nanay ko, ng tatay ko kasi ako lang po yung breadwinner sa amin. Pero dahil sa na-feel ko yung heart na Heavenly Father na kailangan ko po siya. So kailangan kong ibigay yung 100% ko po. Kailangan is wala po akong reservation at that time. So my priority is kailangan kong mag-quit. So nag-quit po ako, tapos binigyan ako ng responsibility. Ang magulang ko galit na galit po sa akin, hindi ako pinapauwi ng bahay. So ang ginawa ko po is nag-mission lang po ako ng pudo. Tapos nag-fundraising, naglahat. Ang dami-dami ko po na-raise na spiritual children. And then pagkatapos po ng kasi December at that time, pagkatapos ng January, mga middle po ng February na po pala yun is naka-receive po ako ng notice from the Department of Education na kailangan daw po na i-continue ko po yung pag-aaral ko. Kaya sabi ko sa nanay ko, kung ano po pala yung ibinigay, sabi ni Heavenly Father, is ibabalik at ibabalik po yun. Kaya yung po palagi ang iniisip ko na kapag ibinigay mo po pala yung 100% na dedication, devotion, para sa whole purpose, is hindi ka po pala talaga mabibigo. Kasi pinagraduate pa rin po ako niya kahit na 1 month na po. So nagulat po ang magulang ko kasi kasama po ako sa list na mag-graduate. So ibig po sabihin, sa mga experiences po natin, sa mga experience ko po na mayroong mga ups and downs, maraming struggles, maraming difficulties. So kailangan ko po pala na maging grateful po pala talaga ako doon sa lahat-lahat ng yun. Kasi yun ang magtuturo sa akin na maging humble ako. Kasi kapag nakatapos ko na nakuha yung pinaka-goal ko, doon ako sa pinaka-peak na na-reach ko na talaga ang goal ko. Parang hindi ko man ma-feel na happy ako, parang may kulang pa. So the more na kailangan kong mag-humble down at maghanap pa, and then the more na na-appreciate ko na ang dami-dami pa po palang dapat tulungan na tao. Most especially, bilang isang parent po ako, is nakikita ko na yung mga pangangailangan ng anak ko. Oo. Internally and externally, kailangan kong i-provide po talaga lahat sila. So, hindi ko po ito magagawa kasi malalaki na po sila. Kaya ang ginawa ko every day, every night, kumbaga, kailangan ako talaga ang mag-lead sa kanila na magkaroon ng hondoke po. Tapos, parang naging habit na po yun every night ng mga anak ko na kapag ako ay prayer na sa taas, nag-start na po ako na mag-holy song. Lahat sila po ay pa-follow na aakyat na po doon sa prayer room. So, parang unti-unti po, hindi na po ako nahihirapan sa kanila mag-educate kasi every night nakaka-receive sila ng spiritual guidance, spiritual food, na kung saan naikukunek ko po yung aking mga anak sa akin kay Heavenly Father, kay true parents po. And then, since yan po yung pinaka-goal po natin na at least magkaroon po tayo ng legacy sa ating mga anak, sa ating family. So kailangan i-expand po natin ito. Kaya po, we are so grateful kasi binigyan po tayo ng divine principle. Kilala po natin kung sino si Heavenly Father. Kilala ko po kung sino si true parents. Tapos mayroon po akong divine principle. Mayroon po akong blessing. And then this time, I received na naman na kailangan daw po na ma-liberate po yung yung ating mga ancestors. So luckily naman po napaliberate ko na po yung side ko, yung 430 generation ko po already na po. And then tinatrabaho ko naman po yung kabilang side. So yung aking mga anak po, isa na po sa mga nag-volunteer na yung eldest ko po is yung eldest ko po bali nag-volunteer na po siya na mag-full-time po dyan po sa Bicol region kasi nandyan po yung mga tribes ko. Opo. So, magagawa ko po yung lahat ng to, magkakaroon po ako ng legacy kapag naintindihan ko po yung tinatawag na paano may strengthen ko po yung love para sa ibang tao. Bilang isang parent, paano ko po maibibigay ang aking love sa bawat isa. So, kailangan ko pong gumawa kasi wala naman po ibang dapat aasahan kundi ako lang para ma-comfort ko po yung heart ni Heavenly Father at paulit-ulit pong isinasabi sa hondoke na you have to take responsibility. So, kailangan ko pong mag-response. Kailangan ko pong gumalaw. Kailangan ko pong gawin ang aking responsibility. Kasi kung aasa po ako sa iba, paano po yung perfection ng heart ko? Parang napaka-imposible. So, kailangan ko po na araw-araw, kailangan after waking up, kagising ko, gabi pa lang, dapat pala, gabi pa lang po, bali, nililista ko na ko yung mga priorities ko na gagawin kinabukasan. Ano po yung mga plans ko kasi kailangan isulat ko po yan lahat. Tapos pagkagising ko, sasabihin ko kay Heavenly Father, hello Heavenly Father, I love you so much. So gagawin ko po lahat yun na nakalista. And then after nun, pagdating ng gabi po, i-offer ko po yung Heavenly Father. So hindi ko po inisip kung makaka-reach po ako ng goal ko. Ang iniisip ko po is paano po ma-strengthen yung heart ko na ma-feel ko po sa Heavenly Father sa aking puso. Kasi kung dito po is palagi po ako nag-hard work para sa makapundar po ako ng maraming gamit, makapundar po ako ng magandang bahay, maganda nga na nga po. So ito actually is lahat temporary lang po ito. Oo, temporary lang. Kung gusto ko po na maging maganda pala, kailangan gandaan ko rin po yung aking ginagawa dito sa physical world para lahat ng ginagawa ko is maging eternal po yung magiging happiness. Kung kaya kailangan ko pong maka-restore pa ng maraming mga spiritual children, i-connect ko po lahat sila. Kaya through this virtual seminar, bali po, I'm very thankful po kay Kuya Ariel, sa ibang mga leaders, kasi nagkaroon po sila ng mga ganito through this morning devotion. So, it's my responsibility to connect myself, to connect my family, to connect all yung mga in-invite ko po na they know already the divine principle, the true parents. So through that, madidevelop ko yung pagiging parental heart ko. So then through that, lalong naiintindihan ko po yung heart ni true parents at saka ni Heavenly Father. Kasi ang pinaka-goal po natin is how to become a tribal Messiah. Even kaunti lang, kaya sabi ni true Father, sa isang tree, sabi ni Father is kahit na hindi ko naman in-expect na lahat magagawa ninyo ang pinapagawa ko, at least sa parts man lang ng tree, at least maging leaves man lang kayo o maging trunk o maging sanga, di po ba? Oo. So, I'm trying every day na maging good po ako na anak ni Heavenly Father, ni true parents. So I hope na lahat po tayo is yun po ang ating ina-aspire para po maging deserving po tayo sa lahat ng sinasabi araw-araw ni true parents po na you have to take responsibility. So yun po kasi ang pinakamahirap, yung foundation of substance. So ito po yung magiging kapag pumunta po tayo sa spirit world. So, ito po yung maiiwan natin, yung legacy natin na maiiwan po sa ating mga anak na naka-raise up po tayo ng mga mga good children, good spiritual children, and so and so. That's the time na nare-realize po natin yung tinatawag na tribal messiah, yung at least a community naman. Community po. So thank you very much po. So ang sa akin po is how to yung live a life na yung may maiiwan po ako na magandang legacy sa mundo, na bilang isang nilalang po na binigyan po ako ng life na mag-exist po dito sa mundo. Ano po ang magiging part ko? So since itinuro po sa akin ni True Parents, Heavenly Father, ang mga bagay-bagay nito, so kailangan kong gawin po ito artistically. So thank you very much po. Thank you po very much.
Thank you so much, Tita Rose, for that wonderful reflection. Yes, Tita Rose is very hard work, especially in the front line. Yan, so thank you po. And also, okay. Yeah, thank you so much po, Tita Rose. She is, marami po siyang mga nai-invite na youth from their area, and also po from the pinapa-attend natin sa mga education seminar, and also sa mga activities natin. Kaya I salute you, Tita Rose. Thank you so much. Now, for our final message. Yan, so let's welcome for the final guidance, let's welcome our Regional Vice President of Heavily Asia Pacific 2, no other than Dr. Julius Malikdim. Welcome po.
Thank you very much, Rose. At maraming salamat din to our Ate Rose for the reflection, and kay JC. Thank you so much to our national leader for this guidance today. We received once again this very powerful guidance from True Parents, from True Father, taken from, this is one of the speech of True Father. It really talks about living behind a legacy of love. So every time we read this, parts of this are actually also in the True Father's autobiography as a peace-loving global citizen. So everything that God created, God's ideal, ito yung naging basihan ng pag-create ni God, living for the sake of others. So everything that God created is governed by this fundamental universal principle na tinatawag na living for the sake of others. So that is why this is practiced by all creations. However, after the fall of Adam and Eve, anong nangyari? What happened is, we as human beings deviated from this principle. Tayo lang. But the rest of creation remain in this principle, in this realm of the principle of living for the sake of others. So that is why, pag tinatawag natin na restoration, tayo po, we as human beings, there's no other way to go back to our heavenly parents but to really practice living for the sake of others. Kasi ito yung original nature natin. This should have become our original principle that governs us, pero nawala tayo dun eh. We deviated from there. That is why we need to exert efforts. Actually, if I will ask you, it is easy to live for the sake of others. Actually, it is easier to live for the sake of yourself. That's very normal, no? Like, it's easy to live for yourself because, as you know, many people do it. Many people practice this. This is our society now. Everyone is living for the sake of themselves. But True Father started the long course of restoration, and he started educating all of us. There's no other way. We have to deny ourselves. We have to sacrifice for the sake of others, and we have to live for the sake of others. Why? Because this is the only way that we can go back to our Creator, to our Heavenly Parents. At this time, True Father also emphasized the point that, we are meant to live not for our own sakes. And then Father said, we are not born, just like we are not born based on our own accord. So ibig sabihin nito, hindi tayo yung nag-determine whether we will be born or not. We are not the one who determine what date we will be born, whether you will be born as a male or female. Everything is given to us by our Heavenly Parents. So that is why as we are not born based on our own accord, dapat we cannot also live based on our own accord. We have to absolutely follow kung ano yung purpose ni Heavenly Parent sa atin. So it's Heavenly Parent who determines our purpose. So that is why when you think about this, brothers and sisters, insisting on our own selves, this is actually one of our fallen natures. Di ba? Kung minsan very strong yan na even though we know the principle, always we are struggling about this point. We are always thinking of, I want to do this by my own. I will decide on my own. Ito yung very strong na fallen nature natin. That's why we are keeping on fighting this kind of fallen nature. And then also, true Father, this is very important guidance. Father said, the success or failure in our lives depends on how much love you have accumulated. So, kumbaga, when we think of success in the right way, it is how much you have accumulated assets, no? And these are assets of true love. How much you have lived for the sake of others. That's why when I'm listening to the reflection of JC and also to Ate Rose, this is like every day we are accumulating. How much have I invested today? How much have I accumulated today? Because this is the only way that we can bring success. Yung success na ang standard is based on Heavenly Parents' standard. And then also very important, we've learned today from True Father's guidance, everything will, or everyone will go back to where we came from. Everyone will go back to our roots. And the True Father asks, where do we go back? Saan daw tayo babalik? To the place where our heart came from. So that means we have to go back to our Heavenly Parents' heart. However, to go back there, it's not easy because as we have learned in the past, that when we go to the spirit world, it's not God who will determine whether we go to heaven or not. It's not even Satan. It is us, it is ourselves who will determine where we will go. So that's why it's very important to be reminded what kind of life we are living now. And then True Father also emphasized, we cannot talk about life without talking about death. So we cannot avoid this. We cannot say, okay, ayoko muna, I'm exempted muna dyan sa usapin na yan. No? We cannot talk about life without talking about that. We cannot avoid getting out of this line. I read yesterday, very interestingly, somebody posted, like, we are like in a line. Some people are in front of us, some people are behind us. And eventually, we are going there. And we cannot get out of this line. Now, eventually, our time will come. But very important, of course, very important is how we live our life. So, how we live is important, but equally important is how you die, how we die. So that means when our time is up, there should be no regrets. No? That means we can say to Heavenly Parents, we can say to True Parents, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Ang mahirap kasi when we are about to go to the spirit world, tapos hindi tayo ready. And then we start to realize, marami pala tayong bagay na hindi nagawa na dapat gawin natin. So that's why, when we think about this, brothers and sisters, what are the things we must accomplish before we cross over to the boundary line, as True Father said? What kind of legacy you are going to leave behind? And then sabi ni Father, live behind a legacy of love, a legacy of true love. Actually, many people want to live eternally, right? Of course, that's impossible because we have physical body. But we can remain forever. The secret to remain forever is how people will remember us, right? In what way people will remember us. And then they will always keep us in their hearts forever. I'm sure many of you have many people who have touched your lives na kahit na nasa spirit world na sila, they remain in your hearts. They remain alive in your hearts, in your memory. So it's the same. Now, how many people we have touched while we are on this earth? this is how you will remain eternal. This is how you will remain forever. So only our legacy of love will remain, true Father said. Love is the only thing that remains when we are in our graves. Aju? So that's why, how do you want history to remember you? You know, I use this story many times. I even use it when we are teaching the young leaders. Talking about the story of Alfred Nobel. Alfred Nobel, of course, very famous because of the Nobel Peace Prize. But do you know his life before? He is notorious person. Why? He is the one who invented dynamite in 1867. And then, of course, the dynamite is used to kill so many people in the past. Many people have died because of this armament. And then he built up armaments factories. So kumbaga notorious siya. Kilala siya. Ang tawag sa kanya, merchant of death. Kasi businessman siya, pero yung business niya is to kill people. Mga armaments to kill people. And you know what happened? One time when he was in Paris, nagbabasa siya ng dyaryo. Nabasa niya doon sa obituary, yung obituary, yung announcement ng mga namatay. And then nakalagay doon ang laki-laki, yung pangalan niya, Alfred Nobel. Tapos nakasulat doon, ang headline, "The Merchant of Death is Dead." He was shocked. Nakita niya, it was a mistake. Actually, it was his brother who died, hindi siya. Pero they mistook him for his brother. And so it's like, kumbaga, imagine, nabasa mo na, patay ka na. And then he said, I don't want to be remembered in this way. The merchant of death is dead. Parang nagbunyi pa yung mga tao sa pagkamatay ka. And immediately because of that, he changed his perspective in life. Lahat ng ari-arian niya, lahat ng pera niya sa bangko, everything, the wealth that he has, inilagay niya lahat in a foundation. And this foundation is the one that started the Nobel Peace Prize. So when we think about these brothers and sisters, leaving the legacy of love behind, the greatest legacy given to us by our true parents, I mentioned this yesterday in the Sunday message. The true parents have accomplished so many things in their life, but the greatest legacy the true parents have given us is the legacy of the blessing. Legacy of the blessing. And true parents wanted this legacy na tuloy-tuloy yan. Tayo ang magtutuloy-tuloy niyan. This is the legacy of Chonbo. Why true parents open the way for Chonbo, for all families to become Chonbo. Why? Because we have to take ownership of this legacy of our true parents. Blessing our ancestors. Blessing all people. So this is, kumbaga, ito yung dapat gawin natin. This is the greatest legacy that we can leave behind when our time is up and we are going to the spirit world. So let's receive this guidance today. Thank you once again to all brothers and sisters who've joined. Let's have a victorious Monday today. Kamsahamnida.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Julius Maliklim. Give us a hand for our Vice President, Regional Vice President of Asia Pacific. Thank you so much for that wonderful and amazing final guidance. And also, yeah, we exist to this earth to not only for ourselves, but for true living for the sake of others. And always we need to think what we contribute to our heavenly parents and true parents. And yeah, that's it. So for announcement, for the few announcement. So from the HTM activities, we will be having a 12 days special Yojong Leadership Training Program for our to become a coordinator on April 20 to June 1, 2021. This is a virtual seminar, only 4 to 6 p.m. daily, and the registration is for 100 pesos only. For more inquiries for this one, you may contact me po. And also, yeah, this HLTP is for those Chumbo couples who want to have a coordinator in their tribe. Yan. Next is, we also have a 10 modules virtual seminar for the HTM Blessed families. So this is upon request. This is if you want to have 10 modules for your tribe, pwede po kayo mag-request sa amin. And also, we also have a 21 days special seminar on May 3 to 24, 2021. This is the Japan Task Force who want to work in Japan. The requirements is age 20 to 30 years old and healthy. They must be a college level or college graduate, no tattoos, at least from the HTM tribe or areas, and already undergo 7 days Divine Principle workshop. At least six months attended Sunday service or church activities. And also the resume deadline is on April 25, 2021 with the church leader's recommendation. Yan. For the more information of this Japan Task Force, you may contact May I. Dibuan, the Japan Task Force Coordinator, with the contact number of 0995-0963261, and you may submit your resume in the email of termesmereros@gmail.com or to me po. And also to our educational department activity, they have a 12 days Divine Principle online Divine Principle seminar, evening session equivalent to 7 days Divine Principle. This is for those who cannot attend face-to-face 2 times a month. And also, yung batch 4 po nag-start na yesterday, and the batch 5 po is on the first week of May. Yan. So if you want to more information about this 7 days Divine 12 days Divine Principle online workshop, you may contact the Secretariat of the Education Department, no other than Ms. Marvic Advencola. Yan. And so, thank you so much, everyone, for this announcement. I hope everyone catch up that. And also, for our closing prayer, may I call the wife of our National Education Director, Mrs. Rona Rialin.
Please join me in my prayer. Good morning, our precious. We receive a lot of inspiration and blessing given by you through our national leader and through our Vice President for Asia Pacific. Thank you for the guidance on how we should live our life, this physical, and that is to live for the sake of others, in spite of difficulties, and to live our life without shadows. We want to leave a legacy of love here on earth when we go to the spirit world. We are really thankful and grateful once again for giving us opportunity to receive your words and bountiful blessing. We really felt much love and happiness, wisdom, and encouragement to do our mission and responsibilities. Even though we are so unworthy and unfilial children of yours, still you are there guiding us. Thank you so much for your unchanging love. You always correct us when we are wrong. Thank you so much for putting us in the right path, Heavenly Parent. We really appreciate you. We love you with all our hearts, our mind, and soul. Please use us as your good instrument towards people around us. Help us align ourselves to you, to our true mother. Thank you so much for everything. I would like to pray this in behalf of our leaders, elders, brothers and sisters, in our names, Ariel and Rona, really a blessing God family. This is what I pray.
Jude. Now let's offer our unison prayer. Aju. Thank you so much. Dear leaders, brothers and sisters, let's offer our thank you to Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Thank you, Heavenly Father and True Parents. Thank you so much to our leaders, brothers and sisters for attending our morning Honduke. Thank you so much, everyone. And good morning. Happy
Thank you
Monday.
so much, everyone.